Radio Lomax, l'émission du 106.
Bonsoir, nous accueillons les Harlem Gospel Travelers, formation new-yorkaise qui puise dans le répertoire des quartets à voix des années 50 et 60 pour donner un souffle nouveau à un genre et une culture qui ne cesse d'être d'actualité depuis son âge d'or. Ils sont jeunes, brillants, drôles et sont les protégés d'Eli Paperboy Reed, qui est avec eux est passé du rôle de professeur à celui de producteur, une sacrée aventure qu'ils vont nous raconter maintenant sur un second album qui vient de sortir, riche en feeling. Bienvenue.
Radio Lomax, l'émission du 106.
Hi there. On peut leur demander de se présenter déjà, je pense.
Yeah, would you be so kind as to introduce yourselves?
My name is George Mirage.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Ifedayo Thomas Gatling.
My French ain't that good.
Just go for English.
I'm Dennis Bailey.
Nice to have you. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Merci.
Alors, on va commencer par leur demander de nous raconter leur expérience avec un programme musical qui s'appelle Gospel for Teens, qui permet aux adolescents de se former à la musique dans le cadre du gospel et qui rassemble des jeunes de tout New York. Voilà, de nous raconter un peu ce contexte-là.
Yeah, can you tell us about Gospel for Teens and how it has led to the creation of the band? Anyone?
Okay, so I'll answer this question. We were a part of the program, and that's where me and George met. And then we met Eli, and Eli is the one that started this group. It started out as a after-school program for he wanted to teach a quartet and teach quartet music because that's his passion. And then we started writing original songs, and that's what sparked the rest of this. But yeah, that's how we got started.
Oui, donc en fait, il s'est trouvé qu'ils se sont rencontrés d'abord avec Georges, et puis Eli, qui est le producteur, a commencé à enseigner la musique pour du gospel à 4, et ils ont commencé à écrire des chansons originales, et le groupe est né de cette rencontre.
Très bien, j'ai envie qu'on se penche maintenant sur Harlem et son importance dans l'héritage culturel new-yorkais. Harlem, un des épicentres de la musique new-yorkaise, bien sûr. Et voilà, l'importance que ce territoire a eu sur leur culture à eux.
Yeah, Harlem is one of New York's epicenters, musically speaking, and we were wondering how important this legacy is for you lads.
It's very interesting because none of us actually are from Harlem or have ever lived in Harlem. It's just where we migrated to create music. And I think that is a testament in itself to what Harlem is for music and also for Black music, and saying that it is the epicenter of a lot of different styles. When we talk about the Harlem Renaissance and the jazz music that came out of there was also a renaissance in gospel music as well. And so I would like to think that we are a part of the second renaissance of gospel music coming out of Harlem, even though we are not natives to the area.
Oui, donc ce qui est intéressant, c'est qu'ils ne sont pas eux-mêmes originaires d'Harlem et qu'ils y sont venus pour faire de la musique, ce qui est une preuve tout à fait évidente de l'importance, surtout pour la musique afro-américaine. Et il y a eu le jazz, et ils se considèrent très largement comme faisant partie de cette renaissance du gospel.
Alors, on évoquait tout à l'heure Eli Paperboy Reed, qui était donc le professeur et du programme. Je voulais savoir comment est-ce qu'ils s'impliquent encore aujourd'hui et surtout dans la construction de leurs albums en termes de production et d'écriture.
Yeah, of course, Eli was your teacher, so it was instrumental to the creation and the birth of the band, but we were wondering, you know, how much and to what extent he's still involved in the band in terms of creation and production.
Well, as of right now, with the new album coming out in November, he is a part of. That is his last production, playing and everything with us. But he'll always be our friend. He'll always be a part of our life. We love him to death. But he's focusing on his career, his family, and focusing on his path. But he's letting us spread our wings and start flying on our own now.
And the important thing is that, you know, he went from being our teacher to being our manager to being our producer, and now he is our mentor. and he's allowing us to grow and mature and to make our own mistakes and have our own victories. But he's still rooting us on from, where he's at. He texts me every day to ask about how the shows are going. If I have a problem, he's always there to fix it, even though it's not his job. And that's what a mentor does. So I would say that his involvement in us is that he is truly our mentor.
Are you grand? Yeah.
Shout out Eli Paperboy Reed, like love you, dude.
Ouais, donc il parlait de leur album prochain album qui va sortir en novembre. Bon, alors il a décidé de se focaliser sur sa propre vie, mais il sera toujours un ami. Et ce qui est intéressant, c'est de voir qu'il a eu plusieurs rôles absolument essentiels dans leur carrière. Il a été leur manager, leur producteur, et à l'heure actuelle, il continue toujours à échanger quotidiennement, à s'envoyer des SMS quotidiennement, et donc il le considère comme un mentor, puisque c'est ce qu'un mentor doit faire, les laisser voler de leurs propres ailes, mais rester toujours à leur disposition et proche d'eux.
On va écouter un extrait, ça s'appelle Look Up, et c'est maintenant.
When the world starts to get you down and you can't seem to raise your head, find yourself on the wrong side of town, find out what somebody said. When you're falling down so long that you can't fall no more, or you're lost in a mess of loneliness, wondering which way you should go, you got to raise your gaze up above the haze and find yourself to better days. And if you search your heart and find the star and be on your way.
Alors ce deuxième album, c'est votre premier en trio, vous étiez un quartet avant sur le premier sorti en 2019. Pouvez-vous nous raconter la naissance de ce disque et son processus d'écriture un petit peu?
Yeah, Looks Up, I mean, it marks the group's first release as a three-piece. So we're wondering how it came to existence. I mean, you were originally a quartet, and we had questions about how you created the music as well.
Okay, so like I said, we started out as a after-school program. It was just a class. Nobody thought that it would become an actual group. And so when we released our first record, He's on Time, it was after, we hadn't been together for a while. I went to college and George was working and he was singing background, and the other two members were doing, I think they were both in school as well too. And Eli was like, we need to go in the studio and record what we've done, and just for us to have this and say that we did it. And so when He's on Time was successful and charted on Billboard and it was getting a lot of attention, then there was the question of, okay, this can be a real group, who's in? And people decided that they were not in for the group, and that's no disrespect to them. Everybody has a right to do what they want with their lives, and they still support us and we still support them. And so when our group's members started to leave, it was giving very much Destiny's Child. And so I met Dennis in college and I asked him if he would join the group, and he said yes, and then we became three. When it comes to Look Up, we were in the pandemic, and a lot of the music is written between me, Eli, and Aaron Fraser. And for the music that I wrote, I basically just wrote songs that helped me to heal and helps me to cope with the pandemic. And I think that Eli and Aaron did the exact same thing. And because we were all on the same page, even though we didn't write together, all of the project came together because we were all feeling the same things. And I think that's what makes Look Up so important now, is because it allows you to remember that feeling, but also when you're feeling that way again, or when you're feeling any type of sadness, depression, isolation, whatever you might be feeling, Look Up allows for you to get that freeness and kind of open up and say, you know what, it's bad, but I'm going to make it through.
Alors, ce qui s'est passé initialement, c'est que c'était un projet qui a émané de cours initialement. Donc il y avait un certain nombre de personnes et en fait, Eli leur a proposé de garder une trace de ce qu'ils avaient fait et donc leur a dit qu'il était temps d'enregistrer. Et puis ça donnait donc lieu à cet album He's on Time qui a eu du succès. Et évidemment, à ce moment-là, il y a certains membres qui étaient encore étudiants ou au lycée, et il s'est posé la question de savoir qui voulait rester professionnel ou arrêter. Et donc certains membres ont ont décidé d'arrêter. Et c'est à ce moment-là que Dennis, qui était à la fac, a décidé de se rejoindre au groupe. Et en ce qui concerne l'écriture de Look Up, ça s'est passé pendant la pandémie. Donc ce sont des chansons qui ont toutes des vertus thérapeutiques. Alors chacun des membres a écrit des morceaux, mais ils étaient tous sur la même longueur d'onde, avec cette volonté de créer par la musique un sentiment de liberté et de libération, et quelque chose donc de thérapeutique. Voilà.
On va se pencher maintenant sur le label qui accueille cet album, Coal Mine Records, qui comprend aussi des grands noms comme les Black Pumas, Delvon Lamar avec son trio à l'orgue, Neil Francis et plein d'autres. Voilà. Comment ils se sentent au sein de cette famille, peut-être?
Yeah, how did you end up joining Coal Mine Records, which could be considered in many respects as a family, or roster family? I don't know. It's up to you.
So this is before the He's on Time complete album. When we recorded Wash Me Lord and He's on Time, which were the leading singles from that album, Eli went to Coal Mine and asked them if they would be a part of it, and they agreed. And so then when it came time to do the album, they agreed again. And then when it came time to do their second album, they agreed again. And so we kind of have been adopted into the family, and we are no longer the newest members of the family, but we are happy with them, and we love all of our label mates. And I heard you mention the Black Pumas. Those are our home skillet biscuits right there.
Sure.
Oui, donc en fait, une fois encore, Eli Paperboy Reed a joué un rôle très important. Avant que les deux premiers singles soient enregistrés, il est allé solliciter Coal Mine Records, qui ont accepté de sortir le premier album, puis le deuxième, et donc ils ont été adoptés par cette famille. Ils se sentent très proches des autres artistes, et ils sont contents parce qu'ils ne sont plus maintenant les petits derniers.
Alors sur le gospel en lui-même, on dit qu'il était à la base de toutes les musiques qui ont traversé la culture américaine, du blues au rock et bien d'autres. Est-ce que cela en fait finalement le genre le plus actuel possible?
Yeah, gospel is widely considered to be the cornerstone of American music, especially African American music. Ranging from blues to rock and roll. And would you agree that it makes this genre all the more relevant today?
Absolutely. You can find gospel music in any type of music you listen to, just down to the chords. But it's definitely relevant in today's time because, like Thomas said before, it helps to heal. It helps, it gives you, it makes you feel good. When you're down, you're able to listen to this music, and hopefully it changes your emotions.
Gospel is definitely really it's the root of all. Without gospel, music really wouldn't exist. It started with just the chants from the Latin chants, and it evolved into choral structures and chord structures, and then you get to the 60s and 70s, which is we do that. And you get involved with the Clark sisters and the Winans, and they start influencing pop and R&B culture, not just in America but all over the world. Without gospel, there is no music.
I think it's also important to recognize that what people traditionally understand gospel, specifically music, to be comes from the outcries of the slaves on the slave plantation in the fields. A lot of those Negro spirituals and those hymns and the way that we sing comes from that. So when you're talking about the gospel music that it influences, that's where it started. And then you have people that imitate, and not in a bad way, but they listen and they glean, and that's where you get the riffs and the runs and the high notes and the belting, and all of that stuff comes from church. And so that's why some of the greatest singers in the world, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, even Celine Dion, she went to a good old black church and got herself together.
Oui, donc effectivement, c'est quelque chose c'est une musique qui est partout, et particulièrement à notre époque, ça permet de se sentir mieux, de changer ses émotions, d'avoir des émotions positives. Et le gospel, c'est vraiment la base qui a permis de comprendre l'évolution harmonique. On retrouve ça dans le R&B, dans la pop. Sans gospel, pas de musique, très clairement. Mais une précision importante, le gospel a également une origine, hein, et l'origine c'est vraiment le chant des esclaves, dans les chants, les negro spirituals, tous les cris, les notes aiguës, tout ça, ça vient de cette base, et ça vient également des chants dans l'église, et ça va de Whitney Houston à Céline Dion.
À Tata Céline qu'on salue. Céline. Alors cette spiritualité qui se dégage du gospel, qu'est-ce qu'elle vous donne comme force au quotidien? Voilà, c'est ce que j'avais envie de vous demander.
Yeah, gospel is fraught with spirituality, of course, and we're wondering how much it influences your everyday life. Probably a lot.
I was gonna say, with my every move, it influences my life.
I can't breathe without giving thanks, to be honest.
There's a song that goes, "Without Jesus, I'd be nothing," and that's exactly how I feel.
Ouais, donc c'est omniprésent dans tous leurs mouvements, on peut pas respirer sans ça, et voilà, y a un proverbe qui dit sans Jésus je ne peux pas exister, et c'est exactement ça.
Et on va terminer par demander ce que ça veut dire pour vous de monter sur scène et d'incarner quelque chose, d'exister sur scène. Comment ils le vivent?
Yeah, what does playing live and being on stage mean to you? Tricky question.
I was gonna say, what does it mean to me? Well, performing live is always tricky because depending on where you go in the world, you never know if people are into it or not until like the third or fourth song. So it's like, you're singing, everybody's just staring at you, and it's like, but once the show is ended and everybody's on their feet and they're trying to touch you and they make you feel like you're the biggest celebrity in the world. My biggest thing is just to be an inspiration to the live audience, studio, whoever's listening. My voice, I try to be an inspiration to whoever is listening. And when I hear people come after the show and say, you touched me, or this was the best concert I've seen already, so all year, and it's a warm feeling. And I love performing live. I love the studio too, but it's a difference between studio singing and live singing. So I love live. I love it all.
When you create a body of work in the studio, most artists want to have an impact, and they want you to feel what they're doing. And so a lot of times you don't get to really see how the fans react. I mean, you can see the comments and everything, but it takes, I see my mom and my stepdad right there. Hi.
Hello.
It takes, when you go and you do your live shows, to see the impact that the music has. That's when you know, okay, I'm really doing something. It's more than the screaming and the oh my God and the that was amazing. It's when you see people get emotional. It's when you see them smile, when you see them cry, when you see them lose themselves in the music. That's how great it is to sing live. That's the amazing part about it.
Oh, those are very selfless answers. My answer is very selfish. Performing live for me is a sense of catharticism. It's a release. Like whatever I was feeling that day, the 5 minutes before I went on stage, whatever I was feeling that week, I'm able to get on stage and just let it go and give it all to whoever's there, whether it's my dog or 100 people or 100,000 people. I can get it out and just have that freeing feeling of like, that freeing feeling of like I'm above the clouds, pretty much.
Oui, donc voilà, c'est une question qui est compliquée, hein, et effectivement, être sur scène, c'est pas quelque chose qui est aisé. Le tournant, ça va être la troisième ou la quatrième chanson. On va se rendre compte que les gens apprécient ou pas. Mais l'objectif, ça va être une inspiration pour ce public et faire en sorte que les gens ressentent quelque chose. Donc également, l'idée que les chansons qu'on écrit en studio, tout ce répertoire, on le fait, mais sans avoir une idée de ce que les gens vont ressentir. Et c'est sur scène qu'on peut voir l'impact de ces chansons sur le public. Et c'est là que ça prend vraiment tout son sens, hein, quand on voit l'émotion et les sourires du public. Et puis une troisième réponse un petit peu différente et moins altruiste, qui serait que la musique sur scène, c'est une catharsis et qui permet de se débarrasser de ces poids qu'on a accumulés pendant la journée, et qu'on peut ensuite transformer pour le public, quel que soit ce public, que ce soit son chien ou beaucoup de spectateurs. Voilà.
Bien. On va retrouver Yoa sur scène en ouverture d'ici 10 minutes et on vous donne rendez-vous aussi demain pour The House of Love et Fish Talk. Et en attendant, nous allons remercier nos invités qu'on retrouvera sur scène à 21h30, il me semble. Et thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you.